Welcome to Coach Hayes Football Live. He can talk about anything from high school to the pros. This guy knows the game, so you better not be half-stepping.
I can guarantee you most of the audience is going to agree with me before they agree with you.
Strap in, because Coach Hayes is about to
crack your cranium and fertilize your brain. Go ahead and right here, right now.
Subscribe now and check out CoachHayesFootball.com.
What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome back to Coach Hayes Football Live. Today, we are talking about the Miami Hurricanes versus the Louisville Cardinals. Now, let me do this right before we get started. Let me get a thumbs up in the comments section if you can hear everything properly, as well as if the audio and visual is good, just so we know we're on par and everybody have a great experience, because we got an hour packed of some exciting information. We're going to talk about my beloved Canes. And, of course, we also have our usual suspects in the building, as well as Mr. Balin Trujillo, quarterback guru, trainer extraordinaire of Central Florida. So we're going to jump straight into it because we don't have a lot of time. I want everybody to get comfortable in their seats as they watch my Canes put their cleats in the foot of a Cardinals behind, if you understand what I'm saying. So with all that being said, like I said, we can jump on in. We're definitely going to go ahead as well and open up the phone line, so you're more than welcome to call on in, give us your comments, give us your questions. Even if you got just a shout out, we cool with that also. I only have one request, and that is that you don't curse, because I don't want YouTube to bang this channel across the head, including myself. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bring in my man right now, Mr. V12. He's in the building. We're going to bring him in right now. V12, what's up, man? Dun, 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 I'm loving it.
Hey, listen, we ain't no killers, but don't push us. I'm just ready to get started. Excited. Hey, week 3 of college football, and it could be week 2, depending on how you want to view it, of major college football. And guess what? We are about to rock and roll tonight. Hurricane U, we in the building. I'm talking about category what? 7 or 6. Let's go.
Man, that's unheard of. Now, I thought the highest they went was a 5, so that means it's going to be ugly out there for them boys.
Let's go.
I heard that, man. Also, I'm bringing in, like I said, Mr. Balin Trujillo, quarterback trainer here in Central Florida and Miami Hurricane lifetime fan. So, Balin, what's going on? Talk to us, man.
It's game day. What better day is that? And guess what, guys? Guess what we might be seeing tonight? This tournament, we're all in today. We're going to see the chain tonight. It's going to be rocking. Lee Corso said it on game day. He's picking the Canes. You know what time it is. It's game time today, baby. Go Canes. All about the U, baby.
I heard that. Well, I'm gonna do this before they do it to you. I ain't going to lie to you. They going to get you. I see it coming. They going to get you by that UCF shirt you got on. I know you went there, but come on, man. I even Coach Hayes done turned into Coach Hayes shirt.
Hey,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? For my Canes, baby.
Hey, I get it. But you know what? They gave me an opportunity. Unfortunately, Miami didn't, and I got to play against them, so that was pretty cool. But loyalty. But hey, I'm a Canes fan thinking through. That's why I got this on, baby. We rocking the Canes tonight.
Hey, that boy, V12, that boy got on a chunk.
Chunk. That's what we're talking about. Chunk from down south. That's what I'm talking about. Looks good.
That boy got on the chunk, man. So listen, man.
The Cuban link.
The Cuban link. What do you know about that, man?
There we go.
So listen.
Figaro.
That's it, man. Let's get into this, man. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit in regards to, right before we get to the Canes, just kind of roundabouts of college football here. I know it's just been reported that Mike Norville of Florida State has COVID-19, and he's been quarantined and isolated from Florida State. I wish him nothing but the best, and so far as getting healthy. But what do you think about that, V12? How do you think that'll impact that program?
Well, that's the chance they take, Coach Hayes. We spoke about this many times throughout this process of should college football proceed during this COVID-19 era. And unfortunately, this is what happens when you play and you practice in this COVID-19 era. Unfortunately, he contracted COVID. That's unfortunate. And it probably will take a toll on his players, because now you have a leader of your team who has got this virus. And now players are looking around like, how did he get it? Where did he get it from? And so it could take definitely take a mental impact on the players. As far as on the program, I'm not sure. It was a tough loss. They looked really good in the beginning before all the delays from the Lightning when they played last week against Georgia Tech. But I will say this: I believe Balin called that upset last week on the show. He called that upset, and I believe, Coach, you may have as well. But I remember Balin saying they may be in trouble. And initially, when I watched the game, I said, "Oh, Balin was kind of off base," and then that thing turned around. So they looked good, and then Georgia Tech just started to do their thing. So he has to get it together very, very quickly, or he'll be in trouble at Florida State.
Definitely. What about you, Balin? So we're talking about Coach Mike Norville at Florida State has contracted the COVID-19 virus. What is your thoughts on the impact of him contracting that and they're coming up playing the game here next week against the Canes?
Yeah, I think, it's unfortunate. Again, I don't want to take COVID-19 lightly. It's a serious matter. I don't think that we need to, either make fun of it or kind of, tread it lightly. But at the same time, he's the only one right now reported that has the virus at Florida State, and he is the head coach. And you know what that means. Usually games don't happen without a head coach unless there's some type of suspension or something. That's not happening here. It's through COVID-19, which is an automatic 14 days quarantine. So with that being said, unfortunately, I think that the game next week will be postponed. I have tickets to that game. I was looking forward to going to see Miami beat Florida State for the 4th straight year. But the timing of it all is unfortunate for Florida State and Miami fans because that is their next game. They had a bye week this week. So again, it's going to take 14 days before, any type of activity. And the fact that he's the head coach, he's been in contact with all the players. So it only makes sense if they shut, things down or make sure that everything's tested. But it's just, it stinks that it's this week, or today in a matter of a week when we play them. So I do see that game being postponed. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't because I still try to make that plan to go to South Beach next weekend. But we'll see how the events take place. But yeah, Georgia Tech came in, took care of business. That quarterback, Jeff Sims, the real deal. He did make some errant throws. Had 2 interceptions in the red zone with 2 missed field goals or blocked field goals. So the score could have actually been a lot worse than what it was. So Florida State's actually they're actually privileged to have lost only by 3 points and not a blowout victory for Georgia Tech, who is now getting blown out by UCF. So it just shows you really where Florida State stands. I don't even think they're part of the Big Three anymore. Unfortunately, they're right now in the ranks of FIU and FAU consistently. Obviously, FIU, so they're in that same conversation. It's unfortunate, because it's sad when Florida State's down because we always want that to be a hype thing. But at the end of the day, they're hurting right now, and it's just sad. Everything seems to be going downhill for them. But for us Cane fans, hey, we're excited because we got a game today.
That's right, and it is what it is. So, and speaking of that, to Georgia Tech, they're actually playing UCF right now, University of Central Florida, and last I saw, they were getting whooped. So, You correct me if I'm wrong. So, what does that tell you, man? UCF, I just put a tweet out maybe about 30 minutes before we jumped on.
Good tweet.
Yeah, just simply saying, hey, man, UCF need to get the respect they deserve. They haven't done it just that one year. They've done it now with two different head coaches, and Scott Frost and now Josh Heupel. So that's huge, man. Well, let's jump into this next quick little touch before we get on to our Canes. Dion Sanders is in the news as potentially or maybe being the new head coach at Jackson State University in Mississippi, man. That's huge news right there, man. That's huge for the HBCU football community. I know he has been touted and going around in these different programs, but I know he wanted to become a head coach. I'm not going to be late because we are going to talk about our Canes, but I know he did want to come in and become a head coach and not necessarily just a position coach. And I think that is a great place for him to showcase his talent from a coaching standpoint. And a lot of people don't realize this as a head coach. It is about X's and O's. Don't get me wrong. But once you put the head coach tag on you, you become a manager, right? You become a facilitator. That's why you hire great offensive and defensive coordinators so they can do the X and O work. Because somebody told me a long time ago, they said, Coach Hayes, once you become a head coach is the day you stop coaching football. Right. And I was like, man, what you mean? He said, trust me, you're going to do more shaking hands and kissing babies than coaching X's and O's. And he wasn't lying. That's the God's honest truth, man. So what do you guys think, real quick, Balin, what do you think about him becoming the head coach at Jackson State?
Yeah, I think it's a great move, but let's look at the big picture, guys. I think that's the only thing on Dion Sanders' resume that did not get him the Florida State job. He was part of that conversation, being the next head coach there, and I feel like this is a resume builder, guys. Let's look at the big picture. What a great opportunity for him and being in an HBCU, but at the same time, this is going to help him get the bigger jobs in the future. This is going to help prove himself as being a head coach so that he could be the next in line at Florida State. I feel like that is exactly where he is going to end up in the next couple of years. I feel like he's the next in line. Again, he was part of the conversation without any head coaching experience in college. So now the opportunity presents itself. He takes advantage of this. I'm sure he'll have a lot of success because he's not going to have bad pieces around him. Let's not get that twisted. So I feel like through the success of being an HBCU, which is going to grab a lot of community, a lot of people are going to start committing there. He's going to have a lot of success. And I feel like this was a great stepping stone for a bigger plan in the future. And I feel like he's going to be the next guy at Florida State. What I'm interested to see is if his son, ends up going there and playing for his dad. It's going to be interesting because FAU is actually loaded at the quarterback position. So we're going to see what really happens there and how it all, transpires. But I really do think Dion Sanders made a good move here just so he can have that under his resume so that in the future, when a head coaching job like Florida State opens up, he's able to be a legit candidate and there's no excuses. So they hire him.
Got you, man. And that is a valid point, V12.
So from a head coaching perspective, and let me just go back a little bit, HBCUs are known to give people opportunity. It gave me an opportunity. I went to Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee, and we do play Jackson State on a regular basis during the football season. Unfortunately, they shut that down this year, but Jackson State is one of the most decorated programs in HBCU football. But HBCUs historically has been known to give Black people opportunities to do many different things. It was education a long time ago, and now it's even now it's still education, but it's also athletically. And so for Dion Sanders to have received the go ahead to have that job at HBCU, particularly Jackson State, is amazing. They both need each other, to your point, Balin, because Dion doesn't have the head coaching experience, and it's probably what he's lacking. And HBCU programs are lacking that high visible coach or player in these programs. And so Dion is a Hall of Famer. He's a Florida guy. And like you said, with him being there, he's going to bring a lot of attention to that program. More quality coaches are going to want to coach there because Dion Sanders is there. And more quality players are going to want to go to HBCUs, particularly Jackson State, because he's there. Think about it. Dion, he's knowledgeable. He's a fun guy. He loves children. He loves the game of football. And I think it's a great fit for him. I think he'll do well. Unfortunately for my Tennessee State Tigers, we'll see how it goes next year. And I'm happy for him. I'm definitely happy for Dion, and I think it's a great move. And then, like I said, it could be a big picture thing, but for right now, I want to live in the present. Hopefully he's there for some years and he's able to revamp that program and bring more attention to HBCU football. I think it's fantastic.
Got you, man. And I agree with both of your guys' points that I think it is a win-win in that sense. It's a resume builder for him, as well as it helps get a marquee name into the HBCU ranks and let people know that it's not subpar football, I guess. And I think that's a big misconception in the football community that, there's two different levels there. So real quick, man, I guess there's Chalky Kane. Says Walter Payton and Bobby Brazil Jackson, state alumni. Yes, they are. And again, Walter Payton, one of the greatest to ever run the football ever. All right. So let's jump right on into this thing here, man. And I'm like I said, we're here for the Canes. We're gonna talk about them, and we'll definitely probably do a segment on Dion once this whole thing breaks out. We kind of get in depth and dig deep into it. But let's go ahead and jump right into this thing here. The latest news out of the Miami Hurricanes before we talk about Louisville is Tate Martell has opted out. So Tate Martell was a quarterback, came from Ohio State, and he opted out. So I'm going to let Balin, because he's a quarterback coach, and Tate Martell's a quarterback, I'm going to let Balin kick this thing off about Tate Martell.
A smart move for him. It looks bad from the outside looking in because this will be his third school if he ends up transferring. And again, this year is a wash year for everybody, so it's not going to count against him. So he'll still have 2 years to play. But it's very interesting coming from a guy who committed to Washington in 8th grade. You know, he had all the hype. He's been on, you know, E60 News, he had an ESPN story about him, you know, obviously committing in 8th grade, going to Bishop Gorman, never losing a high school game, Gatorade player of the year, QB1 show, everything about him. Goes to Ohio State. He backs up. He actually wins. He goes all the way up to number 2 in the depth chart, you know, and then he has right now the all-time passing completion record at Ohio State. He went 10 for 10 against Rutgers with a touchdown. People don't really talk about that. And then he was actually taking snaps, more snaps than Joe Burrow at one point at Ohio State, which is blows my mind. And then, you know, he goes to Miami. He's a big-time, you know, obviously recruit. And when he goes into the portal, has several offers, chooses UM because, again, our quarterback situation was terrible at the time. And then, unfortunately, finds himself, again, right back down at the depth chart. So, you know, it was an interesting situation. What people don't know is I looked more into this. When I saw this last night, I thought it was a hoax. But as I was looking and reading more, like, credible articles, it is true. He did opt out last night, he posted on his Snapchat, I think, and that's how it got released because he never put it on Twitter or Instagram. And somebody got hold of it. Obviously, with as many followers as that, it's going to get out. And then sure enough, it got confirmed. So he never mentioned anything about a transfer, but usually when you opt out and you're in a situation where you're not looking at any playing time in the future, he's probably going to be transferring again. Now, what people also don't understand is he was suspended last week. A lot of people are, you know, this Van Dyke guy coming in at 3rd in the depth chart, Tate Martell was nowhere to be found. Well, come to find out he was actually indeed suspended by the football team last week against UAB, so he didn't even dress. So now we understand, okay, there's much more to the situation. So is he having still off-the-field problems? That was another thing that Tate Martell had to deal with. The places that he's been to. So is there something going on outside of that we don't even know about? Clearly he was suspended. They won't release why he was. And then sure enough, a week later, he announces he's opting out. So things aren't looking so bright for him as far as playing quarterback at the highest level. I think, in my opinion, if I was his coach or trainer, he should go to maybe a Division II school, perform really well, see what happens, and you know, maybe play some arena ball. But other than that, his future looks like it's over at the quarterback position playing Division I.
I heard that, man, and you just said a mouthful. I mean, for a guy coming out of high school that was heavily respected, was supposed to be the next best thing.
Like Johnny,
him. But the thing is, I mean, Johnny played. Right now, this dude barely even touched the grass. So, I mean, that goes to tell you that there's something beyond football with him. Yeah. It's something off the field. There's something, maybe you're not a rule follower. You know, maybe some entitlement in there. I don't know because I don't know the young man, but there's something, you know, it's always a cause and effect, right? It's always a byproduct of decisions. So whatever decisions he make that we don't get a chance to see, we're seeing the byproduct of it now of him not playing. You know what I mean? V12?
Sorry, V12. Remember last year, guys, right before I think the Duke game, he took a leave of absence, and that information still has yet to be released. I think he even made a statement saying maybe one day we'll talk about it. I really do think that he's going through something outside of football that's really heavy, that's causing him to do maybe XYZ. Who knows what it is because it's still not released. But I think, you just mentioned, Coach, that I think there is stuff that he's going through because this is not the first time he's decided to leave the program. So it's an interesting situation for sure.
Exactly. V12, talk to us quickly about it, and we're gonna move on.
Yeah, I'll be brief on this, Coach. I'm sure we all looked forward to Tate when he transferred from Ohio State. We looked for him to be a savior for the university. We knew all his accolades in high school, and he's a talented quarterback. So it's unfortunate that he can't really make it on the field. I say this. I know that Jackson State loves to get opportunities. I say Dion Sanders, call Tate Martell, and let's get going.
I like it.
Hey, that's a good deal right there. He might need a Dion in his corner to help him through whatever, because I know Dion took that same path with Antonio Brown, which he was just in the news for something else lately. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave that out. You know, it was a little 3X on it. So he just, you know, I don't know what is up with Tony, man. So, but anyway, that might be a good move for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It may have a good I didn't think about it. You hit me with one, man. That's all.
You would look like a hero if that happened.
That's a great look.
You'd have a lot of support. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's get into this piece now. So now we're talking about the Hurricanes, right? Ranked number 17. Louisville is ranked number 18 right now. Okay. So we up by $1 right now in regards to the rankings. Okay, we know that the showing that UM put on last week, some people say it was subpar as you look at the news and the sports commentators. Some people thought it was right on point. You know, I guess it's subjective. It is what it is. But now we're facing Louisville, who's coming in, and they are, what is it, 2.5 on the line right now?
They changed it, 1.5 Miami just now.
All right, so 1.5. So basically, it's either a win or a field goal. You know what I mean? You either win or basically a win by a field goal. Now, I'm going to say this real quick because we all gave our predictions last week, and Coach kept his notes. So what did you guys, V12, what were your predictions for this week coming up?
I do not recall, but I
27-24. I got you.
27-24. I knew it was in the 20s. Yeah, and that's 3. That's 3 points, right? So I may be on point. Yeah.
27-24. Balin, what you put?
Yeah, I think I had 32-17 or 33-17. 31-17.
31-17. And Coach, I put in 28-24. So I got something special for whoever get the closest to the spread or the closest to the thing. We got something for you guys. Again, for all my fans out there watching, you're more than welcome. You can call in. Phone lines are open with your questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Even just a shout out if you got that, if you want to go ahead with that. So now let's talk about real quick this today. So we know De'Aaron King basically showed out last week, and he was the man, right? And we brought up a great question: was if De'Aaron King was not De'Aaron King and he was Williams, Lord have mercy, forgot his name. Darren Williams. Jaron Williams. Would he have the opportunity? Would we have won that game? And I think unanimously, we all said no. So today, what does Miami have to solidify in this game, or what do they have to show in this game to say, you know what, the Canes are on the way back to the top?
I can start. We need to show diversity on offense. We need to show that we have other playmakers outside of De'Aaron King that can get us going. We saw a little bit of Cam Harris last week, which I'm very excited about. I thought he got hurt last week, but he's active for today, which is a great thing. I think we need a heavy dose of Cam. We need for our receivers also to step up and make plays. So it has to be a 3-headed monster: quarterback, receiver, and running back. De'Aaron can't do it all by himself.
I like that.
Baylor.
Here's my take on this. If we can rewind the tape, the last win we really had that was a Power 5 school was Louisville in a blowout victory. And we just mentioned about Jaron Williams. What did he do last year against Louisville? You know what he did? He set a Miami Hurricane record. Okay, I think he threw something crazy, 7 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, something ridiculous. I mean, it was unreal, right? And that was the last we heard of Jaron Williams. After that, I don't know if he was on the field, and we lost 3 games. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I feel, in my personal opinion, to win this game, the keys to victory, or what we need to really focus on today, is defense. I think that our defense has to step up. Our secondary has to play to its highest potential. Our linebackers have to play above what they've been playing, especially our D-line, who I believe is one of the best in the country. I think this game's going to go down to defense because they do have a high-powered spread offense, and it's going to be interesting to see how we contain all that speed like we did last year. We got them down early, and they never responded. It was one of the best games I ever saw from start to finish last year for the Miami Hurricanes, and I don't know whatever happened to that. It got lost. I think offensively, I think we do what we keep doing. I think last week we showed a great running attack, which is, again, something we haven't seen in a long time. De'Aaron King, I think he's going to do something special. I think we're going to see a lot more of the playbook being opened up as we prepare for, obviously, bigger games. I did talk to an inside source last week. I think they ran a total of 5 plays. So, again, I'm not going to disclose who that was, but I know that they did not open up what we have known to know about Miami's new offense. So I think tonight we're going to see a lot of that. Expect high scoring, and I do see us pulling away late, and we might win by a couple touchdowns. But I think defense will ultimately, if they show up to play, we'll win this one pretty easily. If they don't, we're in for some trouble.
Well, and you're right. You may be. Here's my biggest thing, and I said this. Somebody just said it, put it in the comments. Coach, what's happening, man? It's Coach Pruitt. Says went up front in the lineup, and he fixed it down his scrimmage. And I believe that that's the biggest thing on offense that I see is that we can't run the ball unless those big boys up front are moving guys out the way so we can run the hole. Second, from an offensive perspective, we ran the ball, but we got to be a little more efficient in running that ball. And again, everything doesn't have to be 25, 30 yards, but we got to make sure that we understand people respect that, you know what I mean, and not worry about De'Aaron King as much, because I'm telling you that goes down the line as you go through this thing. You know, when you got that kind of person, he's not a big dude, and you get him nicked. Now Tate Martell is out. Now what's next? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of problems that come with that. And then from De'Aaron King's standpoint, I would love to see tonight, especially in this new offense, as they say, up-tempo. One thing about up-tempo is quickness getting back to the ball, but there's also quick throws. I want to see – he didn't do that a lot last week, in my opinion. Well, it's a fact, because I didn't see him throwing, like you said, a lot of slants. And based on your inside source, Baylor, you just said they ran 5 plays. Yeah. Well, that's not a lot of plays. So I want to see them run using their athleticism, get the ball into these guys' hands quickly, let them go ahead and get the yak yardage, do what they have to do. And from the defensive perspective, I want to see our DBs be able to cover these guys like we used to, get up in their face. Ref, I'm on the ball just like he on the ball, and I want to see blanket coverage. I want to see physicality, put hands on them. I want to see agitation. I want to see all of that kind of stuff. You understand that? Look, he just second my thing. J-Dub, what's up, man? I'm concerned about our secondary thoughts. Well, I just mentioned he typed it as if I was talking about it. So we got people thinking about the same thing. You know, that's my biggest concern on the defensive side of it. Yep. I think our defensive line did well last week. But again, it was UAB. I want to see a little bit better talent this week. I mean, we definitely talking about neck and neck so far in the rankings, 17 and 18. So with that being said, I mean, we're going to see what happens here. And that's just kind of where I am. And then not only with the DBs from the defensive perspective, we have to. And this goes to anybody, you know, fans or even coach. If you're a coach out here, if you're a defensive guy, you must make sure you reiterate this 1,000 times. Takeaways. All right, I hate the word turnover, because turnover means they gave us the ball. You got to find ways to take the ball away from the offense. And that's what helps change the game. That's what helps flip the field, and that's what helps limits possessions by the opposing team. So 2 things defensively. I want to see the DBs play aggressively and not passively, and I want to see us create takeaways. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And those are my points when it comes down to it. Let me ask you this. Who do you think offensively, V12, is going to have a breakout game this week? I think that's huge, that we have to see someone, like you said, other guys have to do it. Who do you want to see have a breakout game?
I'm looking forward to seeing Brevin Jordan just take the game over. We saw a glimpse of what he's capable of doing last week, and maybe because they wanted to run a watered down plays because we're playing Louisville this week, that we didn't get to see a lot of Brevin targets. But I believe that tonight we will see Brevin do his thing. I think he will be targeted more, and I think he'll make a great impact on this game.
Baylor.
I think Mike Harley. I think he is going to connect on deep balls. I think that's one thing that we talked about last week, and after watching several analysts talk about the Miami game, I feel like the deep ball wasn't there. We missed on key throws. I feel like obviously that's a relationship and gelling problem. I feel like they worked on it this week in practice, and I think we're going to see some deep balls stretching the field. And I feel like Mike Harley is going to get involved very early on those and connect on a couple touchdowns, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to seeing Mike Harley take the leadership role and the command at the receiver position to give us that playmaker, to give him and us confidence moving forward throughout the season. So Mike Harley is going to definitely be involved.
Gotcha. Now, let me ask you this about Manny Diaz, right? We all ranked these guys out last week, and I think we all had a little different scores. I think I ended up giving Manny a B overall. You gave him a what?
An A. Mm-hmm.
You gave him an A last week?
Yep.
For management? Okay. Yeah. Well, I think I gave him a B in regards to managing and doing. I mean, like I said, I was very impressed when it came down to the discipline of penalties and so forth, especially being the first game out the box, new coordinator, formationally, it wasn't any issues or those type of things. What do you guys think Manny needs to focus on this week, or tonight rather, when it comes to playing Louisville, especially with their spread offense?
We have to get back to what Manny Diaz is known for, Manny Diaz defense. The last defensive coordinator to make an impact before Manny Diaz was who? Randy Shannon.
That's right.
And so we need to get him back. We need to get Manny Diaz to help focus his defense back to that type of play. Once we get back to what's called a Manny Diaz type of defense, then I think we'll be okay. And that means he needs to go and make sure he employs his linebacker, Zach McLeod. Zach McLeod has to announce himself. He's one of the big linebackers from the Big Three of last year. He remained, he stayed. He needs to make his presence felt. Once he gets his linebacker play solidified and also the secondary, and once they play to their potential, like Balin said, I think that we'll be fine. And the last thing, like you said, Coach, we need to get those, what you call them?
What's that? You got you a chunk too, boy?
Hey, takeaways. The turnover chain has to come out. Now I don't have mine like Balin, but I got something for you. We need our turnovers. We need our turnovers, okay? So once we get back to play, and that's part of the Manny Diaz defense. He brought out the turnover chain. We need at least 2 or 3 turnovers. We need 2 or 3 turnovers.
Can I ask what is that at the end of your chain there?
Hey,
it's a coconut. It's a coconut. It's a coconut, right? Zulu coconut. Hey, get ready.
Hey, Madonna got an Easter egg on the ears of that thing, man.
Go ahead, man. So but I mean, we're gonna have a good time, but no, we need our turnovers. And once we get back to playing that style of defense, we'll be good. There we go. Hey, don't hate.
Oh boy.
I like that comment. Dollar store turnover chain. Hey, you know what it is, though. You know what it is.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting that one, big dog.
You
got me good on that one, man.
Yeah.
All right,
it was all like contorted, like it was. Oh man, that's funny. I love. We improvise over here. I love it. No, I agree with everything you said. But the one thing that I'm going to look forward for Manny Diaz is his involvement. Now, I gave him an A last week because I loved to see the discipline of the Miami Hurricanes. What are we known for, right? Undisciplined. Those guys are just a bunch of athletes on the field. You know, last week we had 3 penalties for 30 yards. That's unheard of when it comes to being a Hurricane. Those guys look efficient offensively. We didn't look like we were confused. We were lined up. Like, it was amazing to see, honestly, just from a coaching standpoint and perspective, is like, wow, the organization looks phenomenal. They were, especially on special teams, everything just looked fluid. So I was really pleased. But this week, honestly, I would like to see, because if you notice, Manny Diaz has taken more of the head coaching role, like Coach Hayes said earlier in the podcast about what you are as a head coach, more of a facilitator, a guy that's a management, you know, he's just more of the shaking hands. I want to see tonight Manny Diaz actually get involved in the defense. I feel like when he is in control and he takes over like he did when he was under Mark Richt, we look like a completely different football team, which is why the chain was invented. That's why we had this swagger. All of a sudden, we're ranked in the top 10 again. Like, there was fun. He brings that mentality, and I don't know what it is, because Manny Diaz is a small dude. But whatever he's got going on, he just knows how to coach defense. And I feel like if he can stop, trying to be this mentor, which he's doing a pretty good job of, this young guy, taking over and actually being involved and actually spending time with defense, I feel like this could be a big breakout game for the Hurricanes to really prove why we should be ranked and why we are now the favorites in this football game. So Manny Diaz did a great job organizing last week. I feel like this week he should do a great job of being in the defensive game plan.
And I agree, man. I think that Manny Diaz definitely has to insert himself into it. Maybe not even necessarily just the play calling, right? But so far as, sometimes you see head coaches, when timeouts come up, head coaches kind of stand to the side and let guys coach. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Mm-hmm. But there's sometimes you got to go in there and strike the fire, right? Sometimes you got to be the match that creates the inferno. And that's what we definitely have to see. We can't be lackluster. We can't feel like we got this in the bag. We have to create that atmosphere. We have to create those hungry dogs, like Pavlov's bell, right? When he ring the bell, the dogs get to go and they ready every time and that's what we have to do, man. So we have to definitely get that going when it comes to Manny Diaz and seeing him insert himself, not even just defensively, but offensively as well. When you see guys not doing it, you got to be able to rip behind too. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to tell, hey, man, excuse me, man, I got this. I'm finna get this one. Because sometimes when daddy say something, it sound a little different. You understand what I'm saying? Than when big brother say it. And that's just part of it, man. Real quick, I just want to say this, a shout out, man. Nathan, what's going on, man? Hey, big supporter here. Even though you got that Ohio State avatar up there with Chase Young. Hi, Coach Hayes, what's going on? How you doing? And let me see. I just saw a comment I wanted to talk. Oh, here we go. Perfect. The guy that was just talking about your little chain there with your coconut on it, man. We cracking coconuts. That's why we got that on there. All right, we're going to see a ton of cut blocks on our defensive line. And you may see that, man, because we do possess a lot of speed. You know, we do possess a lot of speed coming off the ball. I think you may see a lot of misdirection, maybe a lot of screens and draws, especially quarterback draw. We'll see those type of things tonight just to keep guys honest. But I don't want that to scare our defense, man. I want us to play reckless abandon. Yeah, if they give up some big yardage, it happens. It's football. But that's why you play on 100 yards. You know, it's not a 10-yard field. So what? Play little the next down. But you got to create that atmosphere. You have to keep the offense, so far as Louisville's offense, on their toes to let them know you don't know where they're coming from blitz packaging, corner blitzes, stunts, all those type of things. I think we were kind of vanilla. But, yeah, it was week 1. But the defense has already been there. Defensive coordinator's been there. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah. I really want to see our defense turn it up, and I want to see a lot of cover sacks. You know, I want to cover pressures where, you know, the quarterback makes a lot of ill-advised throws due to the fact that there's nobody open. It's somebody, you know, it's just cushion a DB play. I want to be like, man, I'm under duress. You understand? The quarterback is under duress, and that's my biggest thing right here, man. Real quick, let me ask you, we're going to go by that player. So Nathan asked, what do you expect from D'Eriq King tonight? So Balen, what do you expect? Because I gave my expectations in regard to what I thought about D'Eriq King. And J-Dub says, I want to see D'Eriq King protect himself more on his runs. But what do you expect to see out of D'Eriq King tonight?
So interesting you said that. So, you know, as a quarterback trainer, I actually had a big training this morning with some elite kids in Orlando. And I told them, you know what separates yourselves from being elite and being a good quarterback? And it starts with the letter C. And that's consistency. And the one thing D'Eriq King has done in his whole entire career, whether that's in high school or even in college, is he is consistent. I'm talking when you go 16 straight games throwing and rushing a touchdown in college, that is something that's unheard of and probably will be hard to break. That's freak. So what he's doing is showing he does have that consistent ability to be the star each and every night. When you throw 50 touchdowns and 10 picks in 3 years of playing and being a starter, that's insane. That's unheard of. So I feel like tonight, again, he's going to do what he's been doing since he was a little kid, and that's playing, being an athlete. You know, he was not always a quarterback. He was kind of thrown into that role in high school and lived up to the expectations. So I feel like tonight he's going to do what he's been doing. If you have noticed in the past, Louisville does not do well when they play dual threat quarterbacks. So I feel like if he can get outside of, out of the pocket, it's going to be dangerous for us and not so good for them. And big plays like that, even though Jaron Williams did shred him last year, staying in the pocket because, he ain't going nowhere. But I do agree with that comment. He does have to protect himself because there were some times last week, even against a UAB team, where he was kind of running freely. And when you're playing against, 4 or 5, caliber athletes, those, because I don't want to say stars, because I know how me and Coach Hayes feel about that. It really doesn't mean anything. But when you're talking about guys that are legit, it's a whole different ball game. You can't be, having the ball out. You can't be running like a loaf of bread. You got to kind of protect yourself, slide a little bit more, run out of bounds. Don't take unnecessary hits. And just be smart to live another play, because like we just mentioned last week, if D'Eriq King goes down, I'm sorry, guys, we are going 1-9. Or whatever it is, 1-10. He is our offense, and it's completely shown. So I feel like if he protects himself, he's going to have a great game. I want to see how he is as a leader. I want to see him in adversity situations. How does he lead our football team? How can he get those guys around us, since we are looking for that playmaker, to see how he responds if we do face some type of adversity, which I hope tonight we don't. But, it is college football. So if we do, I want to see how he responds to that at the leadership position as the quarterback and see how he does. But I think that he's going to be just fine tonight.
Gotcha. And V12, give me your points on it.
Yeah, D'Eriq King last week, he went 16 for 24, 144 yards without a deep ball completion. So, Again, I want to see him to be more consistent and complete some of those deep balls, some of those seam passes, some of those outside releases down the field to our receivers. I mean, we have stud receivers. They're blazers. But give these guys the opportunity to catch the ball and work. Like you say, Coach, he completed a lot of his passes, not many over 25 yards. So to see him complete more passes down the field, and we all know this, we fans, we used to fireworks, we used to outside releases, and let's go down the field. I missed that last week. Hopefully this week we can get that back. But to your other points, I think he's a winner. I love his winning mentality. Durability may be a factor, but he played in the big league. He came from University of Houston, which is a big league, big time program. So I'm not so concerned as much. But again, as a quarterback of a smaller stature, he should definitely try to protect himself more. But I think he has everything. He's a leader. He's a winner. If once he completes some more deep balls, I think we'll be in the mix.
Hey, V12, you said something cool there. I mean, we are used to seeing Blazers on the outside, right? But what are we not used to seeing? Quarterbacks completing those balls. So I look forward to seeing
Correct.
Hurricane, you on their helmet actually having success throwing the deep ball tonight.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
And it's so now that you guys say that, here's my question. And I think I sent in our group chat, we were showing, I think it was a clip I showed of Jared Judy, V12, Jared Judy coming off the ball and had the DB all turned around. And this is something that I'm not used to as well. Our receivers have to create that separation also, right? You know, just because I run down the yard 40 yards and you throw it up there doesn't necessarily always mean I'm open. We have to know how to create that separation, right? And you could just throw up, Hail Mary full of grace if you want to. But I'm used to seeing back the Canes 5-6 yard step on these DBs. So we have to be able to create that type of separation in order to make it great throws and great big plays out of it.
But guess what, Coach? We have to get the respect. If these DBs aren't respecting us, we can't get space. So if he's not completing the passes down the field, then the DBs are going to come up and they're going to press them. They're going to play defenses that won't really allow receivers to get off the ball. With that being said, though, we have to do a lot better getting off the line and creating separation. But we need to have these catches and complete these deep balls so sometimes the DBs can back off and give us some space to work these hitches, to work sometimes these quick slants in these square ends that you're normally used to.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Which is interesting. The last time we actually saw Miami play a complete game throwing the ball downfield was against this Louisville team last year when Jaron Williams lit it up. I mean, because he was throwing everything vertically and making cornerbacks look like they don't even – I mean, there's one time, remember, he hit that post route. The DB was by the sideline thinking it was a corner route. So in creating that space through a little jab step, right? So it's just I'm very happy and excited to see what we do against this same Louisville team that returns a bunch of guys on defense that felt that punishment last year when we in our vertical game.
Exactly. I put his comment up here by J-Dub. He says, if Louisville says let's shut down and key on Brevin, can Harley and Pope step up? And that's definitely what I'm looking for tonight. I'm definitely looking for a Pope to step up. He's a big time receiver. He can do it. But guess what? It just has to be done. You know what I mean? So we got to make sure that. And again, that does come to some play calling, right? But it also comes down to selling those things. So when you talked earlier about hitches and stuff, V12, I always loved hitch. That's probably one of my favorite routes, because if you run it correctly, a DB has no clue that you're going to either take the top off or you're going to hit the brakes. So now you leave him guessing, right? But if you lackluster come off the ball or whatever the case may be, you don't put that fear in him because every DB in the world is scared of hearing that. Whoop! You understand what I'm saying? When that boy catch that thing deep, and you up there on a poster, or you mess around and get put on ESPN Sports Center the next morning, and you got your mama crying, nobody want that. So with all that being said, man, we got to just make sure that those guys do step up real quick. Jamie McCaslin says, what's up, Kane fans? What's up, Kane fam? What's up with you? And he says, I love Miami's run game versus Louisville defense. I think that's a huge advantage to Miami. I definitely want to see that, man. I do want to see them solidify those horses in the stable, man. I mean, as much as I like De'Aaron King, again, maybe I'm just because I'm a defensive guy or whatever, I love seeing the fact that you can run the ball at any given moment, at any given time, on any given down, and there's nothing anybody can do about it, and still stack the box, and you're still churning out 3-4 yards of carry. That's just deflating. That's just humiliating to an opposing team. It's just I mean, it's just crushing, man. Coach over there throwing his clipboard down because you stacking the box. You're doing everything technically right from a coaching standpoint. You put in more people in the box. You still getting 3-4 yards of carry. Man, that's what I really want to see tonight. As much as I love D'Eriq King and what he can do, I really want to see us solidify a run game.
But to your point, D'Eriq King is a big part of that run game because what did we never had in our run game? A threat at the quarterback position. We know dang well Jaron Williams ain't running, and we know dang well the N'Kosi Perry for 8-yard gain sometimes. So now that you have a quarterback that can actually run, now the defense end has to respect the fact that at any given point, D'Eriq King can pull it and go, which is why we were able to score last week on that 66-yard run. If you watch it again, the DN took D'Eriq King, gave that little hesitation. Cameron Harris hit it, and it was see you later, nights out. So I think that by having D'Eriq King as an established runner, it helps our run game tremendously, given our backs opening spaces, because now you got to respect it. Because last year when Jaron Williams was handing the ball off, he was handing the ball off. There ain't no time for him to carry because they can let him run for 3 yards because by that time he's caught. So now respecting that, that's why we're going to see a lot of gashes this year, and I'm excited to really put it together.
Gotcha. And like I say, man, I'm all for the quarterback zone reads and things like that. I think my only issue is, and I hate to say this because I'm totally against it, but like you say, once the engine in a Ferrari go out, it's just a hunk of metal. And and my thing is this, man. If you get dinged up trying to pull it, but like I said, D'Eriq King not a real big dude,
right?
You know what I mean?
100%.
I mean, look, you can have the art of a lion, but even in lions in fights, they get cut up and bruised up. You understand what I'm saying? And that type of things happen, especially with Tate Martell leaving. Are you good with the third option? You tell me.
Not yet.
Exactly.
Not at all.
So that's my point. So now that he left, and let me ask you this, and I don't wish injury on anyone.
Oh gosh.
But if anybody had to get, I'm just gonna simply say, if anybody broke a shoelace, I'll put it out there like that. Whose shoelace would you rather have broken out there? Cam right now or D'Eriq? That's my point. And so that's my point. So I would rather have a Cam shoelace break on me, and he got to leave out for a play, than D'Eriq. And if you understand in coaching, that's some superstitious stuff. We don't like to use the word and put that kind of omen on guys about being hurt. So we always say, you break a shoelace, you got to go out of play. I just don't like doing that to guys, man, because I just think that's some heebie-jeebies in there, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, Miami, here we go. Miami Flow Football says run the jet sweep earlier than later in the game, and it will open up inside. Love the show. Keep grinding. Hey, guess what, man? Coach Hayes football, and everybody here loves you too, and I appreciate you supporting us. You have a very valid point. I said that last week, but now with Balin's inside knowledge, you know what I mean? We know they only ran 5 plays, so if that being true, which it looked like it now that you say it, I guess it's 10 if you call it left and right. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So with that being said, I want to see us use our speed, get on the edge, get on the perimeter. Let's see if they can turn the corner with us. What do you think about that V12?
Yeah, I think opening up the playbook and being a little bit more diverse, I think we're definitely going to help us this tonight, because last week, we were both all saying where's the place selection, where's the diversity. But again, with the inside source that Balin has, that has intrigued me a lot. So we will see tonight. We saw in the beginning some of the play calling that got D'Eriq loose and got Cam loose. And if we could do more of that, use our speed, get to the edge, and then flip it and throw some passes from it, I think we will be able to score a lot of points and put a lot of pressure on the Louisville defense. On the Louisville defense, yeah. Yeah,
definitely, man. So, I like I say, back to the running game just a little bit. I like Cam, but one thing about running the ball and doing it well is you have to have a stable of guys in there. You can't do it, even back in our heyday, as we like to call it, with Clinton Portis and Frank Gore and all them guys. There were quite a few. There were younger guys on the stable that could give guys, a 3-play rest within that drive where you can bring it on again. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm definitely looking to see that tonight. Let me just say this, man. We about 10 minutes left in this deal because I do want guys to be able to go and get their cane juice
or outfits on,
if you know what I'm saying. All right, so they go get their cane juice. All right, and get ready for this thing, man. But real quick, so from a defensive standpoint, we talked about our linebacker play. What do you think about from the blitzing standpoint? Do we need to solidify our blitzing? Because we've always done a great job with our blitz packages, creating that 5-man pressure, right? So you got your 4-down lineman, bringing that 5th backer, maybe off the edge or even up the middle. Do we need to solidify that tonight as well, playing Louisville?
Absolutely. I love the blitz. Love the blitz. And so I know you're the defensive guru, coach, but I'm an offensive guy. But from a defensive standpoint, I love the blitz. And so if you blitz and you time the blitz correctly and blitz on downs that you don't normally blitz on during the game, I think it throws the offense off. So sending Zach McLeod and the other linebackers or sending a corner from the weak side definitely will change the game. So I think, blitzing more will help. It has to be called at the right time. You can't go blitz happy. But as long as we know we sprinkle the blitz in here and there throughout the game, I think that'll help us.
Gotcha. Baylor?
What scares me about the blitz with this team in particular is the fact that there's more pressure on our DBs. And from what I saw last week, if we establish a blitz early, which is great, we could find ourselves, if it doesn't work, in trouble because of the spread offense that Louisville runs. Now, if you don't hit on a blitz, and if the quarterback picks it up, you were talking about swing routes going for 80, dig routes going for touchdowns. We're talking big play hits because, again, that puts a lot of pressure on our defensive backs. Now, if it does work, obviously it makes the quarterback think a little faster in a spread offense, so he's got to get rid of the ball. Like, there's no doubt. If he holds on to it, obviously big play. But what I love about Manny Diaz's blitz packages is, like V12 just said, we're talking there's blitzes coming from people that don't normally blitz, right? We have a cornerback coming from the field, coming straight in from a blitz. The quarterback's trying to read the boundary. He's looking back. Next, he's got a corner in his face when all along the guy was left alone. It's just like wild stuff that we saw in the previous years with Manny Diaz and his blitz packaging, which helped a lot of success, right? But now, as he's kind of taken the reins away from himself, I haven't really seen much like of that type of blitz style. And it's just mainly just straight A gap, B gap blitzes. And it's like, if you pick that up, we're talking little option routes from a running back. He's going 70. So we got to make sure that we're blitzing from different areas, like you said, and downs that normally, like 1st and 10, I'm going. Like, yeah, you got to take a shot, So it's stuff like that that's going to change up the mindset of the offense is going to help. But at the end of the day, I feel like the way to beat this team in Louisville is to kind of go back in coverage and let our D-line go to work. They got to put pressure on themselves, and that's when we become great. When we ran the 3-down linemen, and those guys were getting sacks, think about that. That's when we were unstoppable because now we got everybody covered in the back, and if those guys are causing a problem with 3 people, it's over. So now we're running, 4-down linemen, 4-3, and we're barely, UAB. I think we got like 3 sacks or 2.5. Right. I mean, that's unheard of. That's not good. We're talking about Louisville. So if you're trying to throw in a blitz package, you better make sure we're hitting it because if we don't, those big plays can happen tonight. So I feel like tonight we should kind of ease off, maybe again blitzing different downs like that we're not supposed to, like 1st or 2nd down. But yeah, 3rd down, I think we should go in coverage tonight. In my opinion.
Well, I'm going to say, man, because here's my deal. I just want to make sure, I'm a big blitz guy. I like exotic plays. And for those in the coaching world know exotics, you talk about your blitz and your zone blitzes and stunts and so forth and whatever. But, I mean, I just feel that I feel that a quarterback can hurt you more comfortable than he can under duress. There are very few quarterbacks in this world that can take that amount of pressure, right, from a 300-pound bullet, getting hit with that 300-pound bullet, then he can't sit in the pocket and catching a drag-down sack. Because one thing about it, pain is universal. I say this all the time. I don't care who you are. You black, white, rich, poor, ugly, pretty. Pain is pain. Ouch is ouch, right? So when a dude come in and get up under your chin like party hats, boy, hey, you start getting gunshot backed up, man. You just start throwing it quick. And once you start doing that, it's a problem. You know what I mean? And now you got him gunshot. Now, coach on the sideline saying, you missed the open read. Yeah, coach, because I was looking for that 300-pound bullet. All right, real quick, man. We had some callers call in, but they hung up on us. So if you all calling, as soon as I got the answer, the phone went out. So call back. You're more than welcome to call back. Please leave your comment, your question, your concern, whatever you got to put out there. Go ahead.
Balin, I know you said you had an inside source of why the offense was so vanilla last week. Could it be the same thing with the defense? Because we didn't show a lot on defense either. So could it be the same? Did you receive any information on? Because defense didn't do a lot of. They didn't do anything exotic. To Coach's point, we didn't see a lot of different style blitz. It was a lot of a basic plan. So maybe we'll see tonight. Because we were very hard on them last week. It's the second game, so we'll see. No excuses tonight. We have a ACC opponent. It's the second game, and so let's see what the offense and defense, if they can improve upon things that they didn't do last week. We can go from there, because I'm looking forward to it, because it seemed like it was kind of like, well, we didn't want to show a lot last week. Okay, now we have the chance to show the world, and we have the chance to show the haters what we're made of, and we can do that tonight. So I'm looking forward to it.
We would be foolish if we didn't think that they didn't hide anything. I mean, again, it's UAB. They're not going to throw out their tricks to show what type of defensive schemes they have. I think tonight you will see more of that. I didn't get any scoop defensively because I don't have, connections like that. We're talking about inside sources, but obviously watching the game, I really hope and pray that we do, because if you remember the year we went to number 2 in the country, we had a different game plan and blitz package against North Carolina than we did against Notre Dame. And we look like 2 different teams. So they couldn't prepare for that. And which brings me to my second point. Guys, remember the last time we played on a game day? Do you remember where that was and who it was against?
I don't.
It was Notre Dame. And you guys remember exactly what happened that game. And we came out shooting fire. Okay, so I feel like, again, I think that Manny Diaz is smart enough to know we're not going to show you guys everything, because this is a big game coming up and it means something. Not saying UAB didn't mean anything, but this is what really counts. We got 2 ranked teams going in prime time, which, again, this was not announced as a primetime game until Saturday night, when they realized, hey, these 2 teams are probably the biggest 2 teams playing today on Saturday if we look at the big picture. So now the game is kind of changed. So I think that tonight we're going to see a lot of different blitz packages that you guys like to see. Again, I'm a little worried because, again, if we don't hit, we're in for some gashes. But if it does work, like Coach Hayes says, especially me playing quarterback, I remember when I played Dr. Phillips when I was in high school, and all they did was they send the house and they play cover 0 the whole game. That's a mental, you're about to take a shot, so you better stay in there. Now, on the flip side of it, as I'm watching UCF today, Georgia Tech was doing the same thing, sending blitzes, and what were they doing? Gashing them. Boom, big play after big play, and it was like they couldn't stop it. So that's the only thing that concerns me in the spread offense is if you pick it up, it's a long day. But again, Miami's speed and stuff, I feel like we'll do just fine. But I'm very interested. But college game day is in our favor. I'm not going to lie.
All right, real quick, man, I want to drop a couple comments because we're right just about short of the hour mark here, and I want guys to be able to get in. Real quick, big shout out to Norris White. Says, man, you guys need an official sports talk show or show sports talk. I love it. Guess what, man? Norris, we love you, man.
Hey,
I really appreciate it. Hold on, we got a call coming in right now. Hold on 1 second. Caller, man, thank you for calling on in. Give us your name, where you're from, and what's your comment or question.
Well, it's more, I'm just going to let you talk trash because I already know what you're going to say.
Who is this?
The game.
You got to give us your name.
I'm not giving you my name. Don't worry about it.
Whoa,
Go trash. Go
Okay.
ahead, talk your trash. Say what you got to say while you live. I'm listening.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because UCF is still winning. I know. I'm watching it.
UCF is winning. Oh, because I made a bet
until it's not over until it's over.
I put out there that UCF was going to whip Georgia Tech. That's what I put out there, that UCF going to whip Georgia Tech. I need that cash at the buzzer.
Put up the first half, though. You said who was going to score first? Who scored first?
Georgia Tech scored. Whoop-de-doo. You got what?
Georgia Tech scored first.
Okay.
And then they forgot to keep scoring.
That's the problem.
That was it.
And that's the problem.
UCF is the real deal.
Okay, I'm listening.
What happened was they forgot the game was still going. So now they realize it. They kind of scored a little bit more. It's a little too late, though. But it's not over till it's over.
I heard that. That sounds like some trash power talk right there, 2v12. It's not over till it's over. You understand what I'm saying? So real quick, give us your shout out about the Hurricanes. Who you think will win tonight?
Of course, Hurricanes. Canes, all the way.
Give me a score. What's your score? What's your score?
I'm not giving a score due to the fact that I gave a score earlier and it didn't come through. So I'm not going to think the Hurricanes right now. I'm just going to say we're going to win. A win is a win. It doesn't matter.
I heard that. I love the way you talk. I appreciate it. Real quick, what's the number one YouTube show out there right now?
I don't know yet.
Oh my God!
I want to give a shout out to my favorite quarterback in the whole world, Tyler Huff. He's not listening, but unfortunately they couldn't play this week, and they probably won't play for 2 more weeks. So I want to give a shout out to my boy, Tyler Huff. My favorite.
From where? Where does he play at? Where does he play at?
West Orange High School.
Okay.
And my baby, Terrell Walden, best running back in the world. It's not up for debate. And then, the best wide receiver, Matthew McDonald. Unfortunately they couldn't play because of COVID, but I still love them, and we'll be back.
All day. Well, I appreciate you calling in. And guess what? You see that Cash App on the screen. Go in and Cash App that cash right away.
You my Cash App because it's not over.
Hey, in the words of Trick Daddy, no ifs, fans, or maybes unless she's a hater. We gotta go. We're gonna holler at you. All right, baby. Bye. Hey, so real quick, man. Hey, listen, it is what it is. People calling in, having a good time. We right at about the hour mark. We having a good time with it. We got a lot of people up in here. I see Gator fans. I see hate going on in the comment section. Right here, Lena E says, UM 34, University of Louisville 10. I'm loving that score. Right here, Jason H says 34-20, Louisville wins. That's a hater. All right. And Brandon Marsh says, I'm out here in Louisville, and they are 100% confident they're going to beat us. Well, guess what? You need to start going to the local casino, the bookie, the number runner, and put your money down because these Canes finna start whooping some behind, if you understand.
Category 7.
Category 7. I'm loving it. All right. Hey, real shout out. I'm not going to put his comment up there. This is my boy, man. He Ohio State fan, but he gave me a great comment today, man, on one of my WRE videos. So the Block O, if you still listening, man, I got your comment. I really appreciate you. Man, I ain't going to lie to you. I can't hate my fans, right? He's Ohio State guy, OH. Yeah, whatever. But anyway, hey, OH, HO. So anyway, the Block O, the Block O, man, you did a great job, man, with that comment. I appreciate it. I do really enjoy doing the videos. It is like Christmas every time I look at these films, man. So if you missed it, he put a thing down there. And my man say, Trick Daddy, hey, T-double-D, y'all. You understand? Hey. And said she said they forgot they still playing like FSU. That's funny. So with all that being said, man, we're going to get out of here. We are going to do a post-game show, are we, fellas?
I'm on.
Oh, I cannot wait for that.
Hey, coach, after a certain time, you may get a totally different person. I may have 2 coconut chains on post game. I'm not sure if y'all ready for that. I may have 2 chunks post game. You never know.
Listen, at halftime, that thing looking right. I might go to Jarrett's and get me a chunk. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You're gonna be talking about he went to Jarrett's. Because every kiss begins with K. You understand what I'm saying? So with all that being said, hey, man, we good with it. We're going to make it happen, man. I appreciate everybody coming on here, checking us out. Make sure before you leave, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you are aware of all the latest content that comes out on this channel. We're going to be back in a few hours when the game is over. Immediately after the game, we're going to jump back on and do our post-game show. Please, I want you to call in. I want you to talk about it. Did they meet your expectations? Right now, and I want you to hold these boys accountable. V12, he got these boys winning. Miami 27-24. Balin got them winning 31-17. And Coach Hayes got them winning 28-14. Whoever comes the closest to the score or even hits it on the head, Coach Hayes got a little something for him. And with all that being said, we out this joint, man.
Hey,
we gonna holler at you.
One question for you. After you said, I think you said 28-24. You said 14.
I'm sorry, 28-24.
Don't be going towards my score now. Don't be going towards my score now.
I had something in my eye.
Now, I'll tell you this, guys. I have a question for both of you. This last question, talking about our coconuts here and my chain. What do you think the new Miami Hurricane chain looks like? You gotta come up with something. What is it? What do you think?
I thought they showed it. It had the 305 with the Sebastian on top.
Oh, they changed the Sebastian because last year was 305 with the U on top, right?
Right. Now it's a 305. They got Sebastian on top of it.
Okay.
So it's a big 305, and then the Sebastian sits up on top of it.
We gonna see that bad boy tonight.
Yeah. Hey, we gonna see. We need to see it 3 times. 3 times minimum.
Absolutely.
We got to see it 3 times. That changes.
For those that don't know, Lee Corso picked Hurricanes this morning on game day. He's 5-2 all time when picking the Canes. I like our chances.
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. With that being said, guess what? We're gonna holler at you. We're gonna see you in about 3.5, 4 hours.
Enjoy the game, guys. Go Canes.
All right. See y'all later.
C-A-N-E-S, Canes.